was an executed singer and pianist, but he played with the aid of ear. He sang as it became something that he loved to do. For decades, Johnny Mathis saved quiet about the enemies who attempted to damage him. The tune Legend, they called Too Soft, sold 360 million statistics. Besides, however, at 89, he's carried out hiding the reality. The racist threats that pressured him to circumvent bullets on degree, the cruel nickname Frank Sinatra gave him, and the addiction that nearly ended all of it. Today we are exposing who definitely attempted to silence the voice. Johnny Mathis was born on September 30th, 1935 in Gilmer, Texas. He changed into the fourth of 7 children in a circle of relatives that deeply valued track, have been a vaudeville musician for a time, gambling piano and singing on stage. This musical background had a long-lasting impact on Johnny. When Johnny was 8, his father stored $25 to buy an upright piano, a great funding at the time. The piano became too big to healthy through the front door of their small San Francisco condo, so Clem took it aside overnight and rebuilt it interior. That kind of determination confirmed how an awful lot he believed in his son's capacity. Not long after Johnny became born, his own family moved to San Francisco and settled inside the Fillmore district. The neighborhood was alive with track and lifestyle, often called the Harlem of the West. Growing up in that surroundings shaped his love for singing. By the time he was 8, he'd become acting at church, faculty occasions, and own family gatherings. His father became his first teacher, displaying him the way to sing My Blue Heaven. His dad and mom believed in him so much that they even began a small fan membership for him at the same time as he turned into, nevertheless, young. When Johnny turned 13, he started formal voice lessons with Connie Cox, a famous vocal teacher within the Bay Area. The Owen family could not have enough money conventional lessons, so Johnny worked around her home in exchange for schooling. For 6 years, he learned everything from vocal scales to classical strategies, competencies that would later shape his smooth tenor voice. Those years of training constructed the muse for his destiny as one in every of America's most celebrated singers. Though tune was his passion, Johnny was additionally an high-quality athlete. At George Washington High School, he turned into a standout in basketball and song and field. When he went to San Francisco State University on an athletic scholarship, he set an excessive leap record of 6 toes, 5.5 inches, just 2 inches brief of the Olympic record at the time. He changed into broadly diagnosed as one of the exceptional all-round athletes from the Bay Area. While in university, Johnny started out performing in neighborhood nightclubs. One day, for the duration of a Sunday jam consultation on the Black Hawk, something life-converting took place. Helen Noga, the club's co-owner, heard him sing and became immediately attracted to his voice. She saw his capability and became his supervisor. In 1955, she organized for Columbia Records Gobe George Avakian to listen Johnny carry out at Andy's 440 Club. Avakian became so impressed that he dispatched a telegram to Columbia saying, "Have found extra special 19-year-old boy who should go all the manner. Send clean contracts." Later that year, Johnny signed his first recording agreement with Columbia Records at just 19 years vintage. His debut album, Johnny Mathis, A New Sound in Famous Track, came out in 1956. The album featured jazz-inspired preparations by way of Gil Evans and Tio Macaro, highlighting Mathis's clean vocal style. But jazz records were not selling properly at the time, and the album struggled commercially. It protected songs like Easy to Love and Prelude to a Kiss. However, it never made it onto Billboard's Great Promoting Pop Albums listing, which had Best 15 spots back then. When the album failed to make an effect, Columbia found out they needed a new technique. That second half became a turning point. Under the steerage of Mitch Miller, a key discerner at Columbia Records, Mathis moved far from jazz and embraced romantic pop ballads. His debut album had been successful, but it proved he had something unique. His voice had warmth, control, and an emotional intensity that set him apart. In late 1956, Miller took complete creative management and rebranded Mathis as a balladeer. At a recording consultation that fall, Mathis recorded songs that could change his career. Wonderful, Splendid, and It's Not For Me To Say. When released in early 1957, Wonderful climbed a wide variety 14 at the Billboard charts, even as It's Not For Me To Say went even higher, attaining wide variety 5. Both songs showcased Mathis's easy tenor and plush orchestral arrangements, making him stand out. Throughout a time whilst rock and roll turned into taking on. Then, Got Here Chances Are, released in mid-1957, this dreamy ballad became Mathis's first primary hit and stays certainly one of his maximum beloved songs. Written through Robert Allen and Al Stillman, it captured his capability to explicit deep emotion through diffused vocal nuances. By the Quit of 1957, he had 3 Pinnacle 10 singles, proving that Miller's vision had paid off. Romantic ballads have become his signature sound, appealing to lovers across generations, no matter the dominance of rock stars like Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry. A foremost breakthrough came on June 16, 1957, when Mathis achieved on The Ed Sullivan Show. At just 21 years vintage, he sang in the front of tens of millions of visitors, turning him into a countrywide celebrity in a single day. The display turned into one in every of the most important systems for any entertainer on the time, and appearing on it intended immediate achievement. Mathis finished a number of his current hits, along with It's Not For Me To Say and Wonderful. The publicity dispatched his statistics hovering on the charts. Shortly after, Chances Are have become a huge hit, achieving primary and solidifying his place in American pop tune. Critics praised Mathis for his velvety voice and polished degree presence. Unlike the excessive electricity performances of rock stars, his understated elegance related with audiences who desired something more romantic and timeless. His smooth delivery, combined with sweeping orchestral preparations, made his track feel cinematic. That connection to movies soon have become actual, whilst MGM Studios invited him to sing It's Not For Me To Say for the 1957 film Lizzie. Later he done A Certain Smile for every other film soundtrack, expanding his attain beyond the track enterprise. In 1958, Johnny Mathis modified music history with Johnny's Greatest Hits. It wasn't only a collection of songs, it changed into the first album ever marketed as a Finest Hits compilation. Before that, file labels didn't launch albums this way, but Columbia Records' Mitch Miller had an ambitious idea. Mathis turned into traveling and could not record new track, so Miller amassed his biggest songs, along with Chances Are, Wonderful, and It's Not For Me To Say. The result became a groundbreaking album that spent 490 weeks at the Billboard best-selling pop LPs chart, nearly 10 years. That file, held till The Dark Side of the Moon by using Pink Floyd, overtook it in 1983. The album's fulfillment failed to just make history, it set a brand new fashion. Soon, other artists observed, such as Elvis Presley with Elvis Golden Facts, and later the Eagles with their Best Hits, 1971 to 1975. The idea of a Best Hits album became standard inside the enterprise, proving how influential Mathis's compilation was. It bought over 1 million copies by using 1,999. And remains a testament to his lasting attraction. Later that same year, Mathis launched Merry Christmas, an album that had become a vacation traditional. His warm, easy vocals, blended with Percy Faith's wealthy orchestral preparations, made it one of the most liked Christmas albums of all time. Songs like Silent Night, White Christmas, and Winter Wonderland have become excursion staples. The album charted high upon launch and back to the Billboard charts each holiday season for years. By 2013, it had sold over 5 million copies, earning multi-platinum fame. Mathis did not just record excursion songs, he have become the voice of Christmas itself. Even nowadays, when December rolls round, his variations of Sleigh Experience and Silver Bells fill the airwaves, preserving his legacy alive. Among his signature hits, It's Not For Me To Say stands proud as an early step forward. Mercedes, the music, featured within the 1957 film Lizzie, reached wide variety, 5 at the Billboard Top 100, and became a romantic favorite. Decades later, it determined new life in films like Goodfellas and Zodiac, introducing Mathis's music to younger generations. Then got here Misty, the track that would outline his career. Originally an instrumental via jazz pianist Errol Garner, it became something extra when Mathis recorded a vocal model in 1959 with lyrics by using Johnny Burke and a heartfelt overall performance. The tune reached wide variety 12 on the US pop singles chart. It was greater than only a hit, it became a traditional. Even Garner himself attended the recording consultation, a personal stamp of approval for Mathis's interpretation. The song's precise fade-in impact, where Mathis walked closer to the microphone as he sang, gave it an emotional intensity that made it unforgettable. Both Mathis's and Garner's variations have been later inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, cementing Misty as one of the best songs of all time. Johnny Mathis constructed his profession in a time whilst racial obstacles were anywhere, specifically inside the music industry. As a black singer within the 1950s, he faced discrimination that went a ways beyond unfair remedy. It positioned his life at chance. One terrifying moment got here while he was warned before an overall performance inside the South that a person planned to shoot him if he stepped on stage. Instead of backing down, Mathis went on with the show. He achieved his hit song Chances Are at the same time as constantly moving on level, making himself a tougher goal. It changed into a chilling fact that black artists faced, even those as a success as him. Beyond the instantaneous risks, Mathis also treated segregation in nearly each thing of traveling. He often wasn't allowed to stay within the identical inns as his white bandmates or target market members. This was especially commonplace within the South in places like Las Vegas, which had a reputation for strict racial divisions. In Vegas, even after headlining fundamental venues, he was pressured to live on the west facet of Metropolis, the exact region for black performers and citizens. It failed to be counted how tons money black entertainers added to the casinos. They had been nevertheless dealt with as second magnificent citizens. Mathis as soon as defined these stories as feeling like looking at an unhappy movie. He witnessed the injustice, however couldn't alternate it overnight. Still, his fulfillment, together with different black performers like Sammy Davis Jr., pushed matters forward.